1929. A February morning in a sod house kitchen in the Dakotas. Frost on the inside of the glass and the fire just catching. A woman sits at the table with a mason jar of honey, 2 fingers of it, and nowhere to be for 15 minutes. She is feeding her skin from the outside in. It will heal what the winter cracked open. It will cost her nothing. These are 12 pioneer beauty remedies made from ingredients that never left the kitchen. Every one of them outperformed what the department store sells today. By the end of this video, you will know every single one of them. Now, before we dive in, tap that subscribe button. You will not want to miss what is coming next. Number 12. Floor as face powder. Women sifted white flour through silk or fine muslin and used it as setting powder on their faces. 15 to 20 cents for 5 pounds in 1938. Sifted 3 times through a scrap of silk stocking until it was finer than talc. Applied with a cotton puff or a scrap of flannel folded twice. A matte finish that absorbed oil and lasted the full day through heat and housework alike. The same flour that made the morning biscuits set her face for church. One bag served both purposes. That economy was not poverty, it was intelligence. A bottle of Laura Mercier translucent setting powder costs $44 today. Among the key ingredients listed on the back is starch. Number 11. The Oatmeal Face Cleanser. Women tied a handful of raw oats into a square of muslin or cheesecloth, wet it, and used it to wash their faces. The milky water cleaned without soap. Quaker oats in the round cardboard canister. A fistful wrapped in a scrap of flour sack tied with kitchen string. Run under warm water until the water turned white and silky. Rubbed over the face in slow circles. The oat milk smell, raw and clean, like a field after rain. The soft film it left behind. No tightness, no stripping. The oats cost a penny per wash. Colloidal oatmeal is now the signature ingredient across most of Aveeno's product line. $12 a bottle. The FDA officially recognized colloidal oatmeal as a skin protectant in 2003, confirming what farm wives already knew generations earlier. The oat did not change. The price did. Number 10. The Buttermilk Complexion Rinse. Women splashed leftover buttermilk on their faces or soaked a cloth in it and laid it over their skin for 10 minutes. It was the thick white remainder after churning, slightly sour and cool from the icebox. They poured it into a shallow bowl, dipped and wrung a dish rag, and then draped it across the face while they lay back in the kitchen chair. The lactic acid dissolved dead skin without their knowing the chemistry. They rinsed with well water and nothing else, skin like cream afterward. That word was not a metaphor. It was literal. The buttermilk was a byproduct, something most households threw to the hogs or poured into cornbread batter. She found a second purpose for everything because nothing in that house existed to be wasted. Lactic acid peels are now the foundation of modern chemical exfoliation. A single treatment at a dermatologist runs $150 to $300. The active ingredient is identical to what sat in her icebox. Number 9. Beet juice, lip and cheek stain. Women sliced a raw beet, rubbed it directly on their lips and cheekbones, and blended the color with their fingertips. A single beet from the garden, or from the mason jar of canned ones in the cellar, sliced clean through the center. The deep burgundy red bled immediately onto the cutting board. They rubbed it in small circles on the lower lip, dabbed it on the apple of each cheek, blended outward with the ring finger. A stain so deep it lasted through supper and the Saturday night dance. No compact, no mirror sometimes. Just a root vegetable, 2 fingers, and the knowledge of where the color should fall. The beat cost nothing. The knowledge was everything. Benefit Benetint, which retails for $26 at Sephora, markets itself as a plant-based lip and cheek stain inspired by the same principle. They packaged what kitchen tables already knew. Number 8. Baking soda tooth polish. Women dipped a wet toothbrush or a dampened rag wrapped around a finger into a dish of Arm & Hammer baking soda and scrubbed their teeth white. The orange box on the shelf above the basin. The grit against the enamel. Slightly salty, the foam that came up tasting like nothing and everything clean at once. A final rinse with well water, sometimes with a drop of peppermint oil. Teeth that were white without being artificial. A dime a box in 1940. Used for biscuits, for deodorizing the icebox, for scrubbing the sink, and for keeping her teeth white. One box did the work of 5 modern products. Baking soda is now the hero ingredient in premium whitening toothpastes that sell for $8 to $14 a tube. Number 7. The Egg White Face Tightener. Women separated the white from a raw egg, beat it lightly with a fork, and painted it onto their faces. They let it dry completely and then rinsed with cool water. 1 egg from the hen house. The white separated into a teacup, beaten 3 strokes with a fork, not to peaks, just broken, painted on in thin strokes. The slow tightening as it dried, the pull at the temples. She could not smile while it set. 10 minutes of enforced stillness in the kitchen, rinsed away with cool water. The skin underneath, taut, smooth, and poreless. The egg cost 2 cents. The effect lasted all day. She was not doing a facial. She did not know that word. She was getting ready. Pore minimizing primers and instant lift serums now retail for $30 to $65. The same science as a dried egg white on a farm wife's face in 1931. 6 remedies in, and every single one came from the same 50 square feet. The pantry, the icebox, the hen house, the garden. These women did not have a beauty routine. They had a kitchen. The egg strengthened from inside and tightened from outside. The beat colored the plate and the face. Everything served twice. Number 6. The Strawberry Tooth Whitener. Women crushed a ripe strawberry and rubbed the pulp directly on their teeth. Left it 1 minute, then rinsed. A single ripe berry from June. Crushed between thumb and forefinger on a saucer. Smeared over each front tooth. 1 minute of patience, then rinsed away. The malic acid in the fruit-dissolving surface stains the way laboratory peroxide does now. Teeth that looked polished with nothing but a berry and 60 seconds. A mother told her daughter this the week before the girl's first real dance. A whispered beauty secret passed at the kitchen sink. Just a piece of fruit and a piece of knowledge handed down like an inheritance no taxman could touch. Number 5. The Raw Honey Face Mask. Women spread raw, unprocessed honey directly onto their faces. They left it on for 15 to 20 minutes, then rinsed with warm water and nothing else. A mason jar of honey from the local beekeeper, dark amber and thick. They scooped it with 2 fingers and spread it over the cheeks, the forehead, the chin. The slow pull of it, the faint floral smell that changed with the season. Clover in June, goldenrod in September. Sitting still at the kitchen table with honey on her face and the afternoon light falling through the window glass, the skin underneath healed, soft, and glowing like it had been fed from the outside in. Honey is antibacterial, antimicrobial, and humectant. Medical science confirmed this decades later. She did not need the confirmation. She knew because her mother had taught her. Manuka honey face masks retail today for $40 to $80. The mechanism is unchanged. Number 4. Bacon grease. Hand salve. Women rubbed saved bacon grease into their cracked, work-roughened hands every night before bed. Sometimes it was mixed with a few drops of glycerin or rose water. She kept a tin can on the back of the stove where she poured the drippings every morning, still slightly warm. She rubbed the grease between her palms after the last dish was dried. She worked it into each knuckle, each cracked fingertip, the raw places where lye soap and wash water had split the skin open. Sometimes she wore cotton gloves to bed over the greased hands. This was a woman who scrubbed floors, wrung wet laundry by hand, and washed dishes in water hot enough to scald. The bacon grease was not vanity. It was repair. It was the difference between hands that bled and hands that could face another day of the same work. She saved the drippings the way she saved everything, because waste was a sin and tenderness was something you gave yourself in the quiet after the house went dark. Number 3. Lemon Juice Spot Fader. Women dabbed fresh lemon juice onto sunspots, freckles, and age marks with a fingertip or a bit of cotton. They left it to dry and repeated it daily for weeks. A lemon halved on the cutting board, the juice squeezed into a small dish, pressed to the dark spots along the cheekbones, the backs of the hands, the forehead where decades of sun had marked her. The sting of citric acid on thin skin, repeated each day with patience, slow, steady fading. Just acid and time and faith in the process. She did not call them age spots. She called them sun marks, and she faded them one lemon at a time. A lemon cost 3 cents. $45 to $120 per ounce at the department store counter. But lemon juice works through citric acid, a milder relative that exfoliates and fades pigment through the same basic principle of acid on skin. Both sat in her kitchen all along. There is something happening in these remedies that no product label will ever carry. Every single one required her to stop, to sit still, to wait. Honey drying on the face for 15 minutes. Egg whites pulling tight while she kept her hands in her lap. These remedies forced rest into a life that allowed none. The beauty routine was the only pause she got all day. The kitchen was her clinic, her laboratory, and for 10 quiet minutes each morning, her sanctuary. Number 2. Cucumber Cream Complexion Milk. Women steeped thin cucumber slices in fresh cream overnight, strained the liquid in the morning, and used it as a face wash and skin softener. 3 or 4 slices from the garden were laid in a teacup and covered with cream from the morning milking. They were left on the windowsill overnight and strained through cheesecloth at dawn. The pale, green-white liquid was cool and slightly thick. It was dabbed onto the face with a soft cloth and not rinsed away. The skin felt like it had been drinking all night long. She grew the cucumber. She milked the cow. She made the remedy from her own land with her own 2 hands. No store was involved, no middleman taking a cut. That self-sufficiency was not a trend to post about online. It was a way of life that required no permission and no purchase. Number 1. Homemade lard and rosewater cold cream. Women melted rendered lard, stirred in rosewater, and sometimes a few drops of glycerin, let it cool, and used it as their everything cream. Cleanser, moisturizer, night treatment, barrier repair, all in one jar. A tablespoon of clean rendered lard, snow white, and without scent, melted gently in a small pan on the lowest flame. A splash of rose water from the pharmacy, 15 cents. Stirred slowly with a fork as it cooled and thickened. Poured into a small jar. Set on the windowsill to firm up in the night air. Applied at night after the house went quiet. In the morning, wiped away with a warm cloth, taking every trace of the day's dust and labor with it. This was the foundation. The one cream that did everything a modern woman needs 6 products to accomplish. Pond's cold cream appeared on store shelves in the early 1900s and was marketed as a revolution. It was not a revolution. It was a repackaging of what every farm wife in America already knew how to make with her eyes closed. The industry did not invent cold cream. It took the recipe from the kitchen table, printed a label on a jar, and charged 10 times what the ingredients cost. And within a single generation, women forgot they ever knew the formula at all. But it is not the money that matters most. A woman alone at the kitchen table before dawn, stirring rosewater into warm lard with a fork. The children still sleeping. She made it the same way she made bread, with the same hands. And somewhere right now, a young woman is pulling her grandmother's recipe card from the box. The handwriting is faded. The ingredients are already on the shelf. And without a single word spoken, the lesson begins again. If you want more forgotten wisdom from the Wild West, the next video is waiting for you right now.